WordNerds! Happy Sunday! It's June 25th, 2017, and if you've been keeping up with us, we're not doing book club today. Sorry. I know this is like the second or third month in a row that this has happened, but weirdly enough, people keep having stuff come up on the last Sunday of the month. So we're doing another write-in. If you've never joined us for a write-in before, they are awesome. We're super productive. We set amounts of time, 20 minutes generally, where everyone just writes. You can write, you could revise, you can outline, whatever you need to work on writing-wise, you do it. You can do homework too. We've had people do that. And then we check back in at the end of the word sprint and we share word counts, talk about our progress, cheer each other on. You're welcome to ask any writing or reading related questions in the discussion section, which is hopefully that way. I'm getting slightly better at determining what side it's on. Yeah, so what are you guys going to be working on today? I'm Erin first.
I'm working on revisions today. So my agent sent me a whole huge list of them, and I'm trying to sort out how the heck to actually do revisions, not even just, you know, diving right into them. So it's been a very slow process, so I'm glad we did this today.
Yeah, I'm just drafting my fantasy book, so I haven't written in a couple of days because I was trying to read the book club book in time, which I didn't, but yeah, so need to get back into it, so we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. I'm also working on revisions on the book I wrote with Kyra because we're hoping to be like done with those in a week or so. And Kyra has left me in the dust, has revised like twice as many chapters as I have, so I need to get caught up. And Camp Nano is coming up, so I'd like to be done.
Hey.
In Camp Nano, which some people have been talking about in the discussion section. Are you guys setting goals for camp this year?
Yes.
Yeah, the thing is only lets you do like, what is it? It's like a minimum of 30 hours or something, so 1 hour a day. But I'm like also packing to move, so I'm like, okay, we'll see if I can do 30 hours this month or next month. We will see. But yeah, so I just set that goal for myself.
Awesome.
I think my goal is like 20,000 or 30,000. I can't remember which one. One of those.
Yeah.
Something. Some amount.
Mine is 30 or 40.
I like camp and that you don't have to like write a full 50,000 because that's not going to happen.
It's been a really long time since I've hit the 50,000. Like I think it's been 2 years.
It's been never for me.
More.
I think I won the very first time I did Nano, and then I haven't since then, I don't think.
I think I've come to terms with the fact that 50,000 words is not going to happen in 1 month for me.
Yeah, usually not. No.
See, I did it the first year and the third year, but not the second, fourth, or fifth.
Yeah.
It's a lot of words in 1 month.
Yeah.
I'm curious how you guys are, Megan and Kyra, how you guys are editing. How do you edit with 2 people?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. So for the first round, we basically had to push back a lot of the stuff that happened in the beginning and trash a lot of it and just rewrite the first 20,000 words.
Oh, wow.
And so for the first round, because so much was getting changed, we still had to go 1 chapter at a time. Like I did a chapter, then Kyra did a chapter. But now that it's much cleaner, we're just doing it all in Google Docs, all at the same time. And we're going to go through like one last time and polish up lines in each other's chapters and stuff. But up to this point, we haven't really had a need to do each other's chapters.
That's cool. I can barely organize my revisions like by myself. So I'm trying to imagine sorting those out in my head and then also trying to explain my revisions idea to someone else. Yeah, wow.
We've had to have a lot of check-in chats.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're doing now, yeah? Yeah, okay. What about tomorrow? What are we doing tomorrow?
That's awesome.
Let's start our first sprint at the 45. It's only a couple minutes from now, but we've warmed up a little.
Sounds good. There are weird alien spaceship noises coming from my living room. I'm guessing it's a video game. Yeah, that would be cool. I think it's just a video game, though. It's not anywhere near as exciting. Oops.
We also provide prompts at the beginning of each word sprint. My power is flickering.
It's just screen flickering.
Oh, I can see that. That's creepy.
I was like, your feed is getting even creepier.
Yeah. I think it's just the light, because I have another light up here that is not flickering.
Weird shadow in the background and then flickering light.
Yeah, there's also a dress over here hanging up. So basically, my parents' house is haunted because I'm hanging out at their house tonight. There it goes again.
The house that no one but your family has lived in and nothing bad has happened in.
My parents' dog did recently die.
This is
like,
true. Two dogs have died in that house.
Oh, more than two, because they foster all those really old dogs.
True.
So you have the ghosts of like a million dogs running around. Dog ghosts.
If I'm going to be haunted, I want it to be by dog ghosts.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Instead of like feeling bad energy, you feel like good energy all the time. You're like, I just feel really comforted and happy.
These like tennis balls keep appearing out of nowhere.
Except when they shed hair still, because I'm not down with that. Like, how is there dog hair all over my house?
Your snacks disappear. It's really messing with me. I may just go turn that light off once we start our sprint. It is the 45, so we're going to start our word sprint. We provide prompts. You don't have to use them, but if you need a little something extra to get your juices flowing, this is it. Your prompt for this writing sprint is going to be include a smell that is like really familiar to your character and triggers either a memory or makes them think of someone. And we will check back in at the 05, and I will try and get my light to stop doing that. How did you guys do?
Not bad.
I got 179 words, which I spent a lot of time just sitting there trying to figure out what happened next. So in the end, it's not bad.
Yeah, I only got a couple hundred, but like I had a very brief, actually it was not brief, it was long, moment of panic where I thought that Word had erased everything that I wrote this morning. So I was panicking, like trying to scroll through, but then I realized it had randomly saved it in another document on my desktop. So yay. So that part
a couple
was
months ago, this was like right after I finished, I think, the first draft of my last book, and I like opened up Google Docs where I keep all of my stuff, and I went down to like where it normally was there in like alphabetical order, and it wasn't there, and I was like, oh my god, I was like freaking out, and then I remembered that like the day before I had changed the name of the document, so it was just like a different spot in the order of documents. So then I felt really dumb,
but relieved, I bet.
Yeah.
See, I've actually had it before where Word has like randomly and mysteriously erased like hours of work, and I wasn't able to get it back, and that's like the worst feeling. So yeah, pretty happy that didn't happen.
Yeah, all in all, Google Docs has been good for like not having that happen. Like I had that where I just forgot to change the title, and I had one time where it just like took a while for it to update. Like it wasn't showing because I was like on a different computer, and it wasn't showing the stuff I had written most recently, and I was like,
no,
where is that? And then I like closed it and reloaded it, and it was there. But
oh, thank God. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to lose all my hard work. Was it you, Megan, who lost like half a manuscript or something? Or was that something?
Yeah. But that was because my computer broke. So
terrible.
Nothing malfunctioned, but the dog pushed my computer off the couch. And it hit the ground just the right way that I lost half of a book.
It's a good thing
That's
he's really
terrible.
cute.
Yeah.
It wasn't even my dog, it was my parents.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Not excused. Bad
Ollie
dog.
would never do
Never
that.
mind. True.
Ollie knows better than to destroy your manuscript.
It may have been before we had Ollie as well. Now that I'm thinking about it. It's been a while.
That's so sad. I have like entire manuscripts that I will probably not be able to access again because they were on old computers, but they're, like I said, old. They're on old computers or old manuscripts, and it's like I could go back and try to find them, but they're probably not even worth saving. Like
at that point, it's like I would probably have to rewrite it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know the plot event, so I could go back and rewrite if I want to, but like they're not even that good, so not a lot of point. Practice manuscripts.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of related to a question we had from Ellie asking, have you ever had to rewrite the entire first draft so that you could edit it in a way that makes sense?
Say that again. Sorry, I phased out.
Have you ever had to rewrite a first draft so that you could like edit it to make sense again?
Not to make sense, but I've definitely like written a whole draft of a story, read it through, realized I hated it, and deleted the whole thing in order to redo it. So
yeah, I've had one that I had to just do the whole thing over again. It's not fun.
WordNerd Links. There you go.
If you could tell by our lack of enthusiasm, it's worth it, but it's not fun.
No.
No, my last manuscript, that's why I like ended up just like pushing the edits aside because I knew I was gonna have to do it. I was like, I'm gonna have to rewrite this whole thing, and I was like, I don't want to right now. I want to write something new. I'm gonna go write something new now.
You do kind of have to give yourself that break.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like I'm going to be writing a whole book again anyway, and I wasn't enthusiastic about that book, and so I was like, I might as well just write something new instead of dealing with this.
No, definitely. Your brain needs a break. Actually, it's funny because the manuscript I'm literally working on right now, the edits, that's the one that I had a whole 90,000 word draft, and it was actually not, I mean, done this twice now, and it was not with this one because I hated it, but it was because it had been out with my previous agent, and everybody it went out to was like, no, this is too close to, like, you know, we can't do anything with magical schools in them. This is too much like Harry Potter. So the whole premise was based around that. So I had to scrap the entire thing. Pretty much the only thing that started the same was the first chapter and the characters.
Yeah.
And that's literally the only thing that survived from that draft. And because I like all of the characters and their like powers or whatever. And that's all that I kept. So
yeah.
Yeah,
it's now been a whole 20 years since the first Harry Potter book came out, so I feel like you should be able to do magical schools
feel like
again.
I should be able to do magical schools again. And the funny thing is I still have that full other manuscript, so technically I could change the names and it would not be recognizable as the same one.
I think today's the like official anniversary of the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, that sounds
I know it was
right.
this month.
Somebody mentioned that recently. Yeah, because there's been a few things out with magical schools lately, and I was like, clearly it's okay now, so maybe I'll revisit that at some point. Not very many editors saw that. I think only like 5, so I mean, it's worth a try at some point.
We had one person in the discussion who said it was, hang on, I think it was Scarred Words Addict, had to rewrite a draft into third person because they'd realized too late that it wasn't working in first person. I thought rewriting was the worst, but that's actually the worst. I've had to do that for like a 10,000 word chunk that I had, and it's just so monotonous. Like,
it is monotonous, yeah.
She, I, he.
I've done that for, and not on purpose, but like if I switch between first person present and past, and like I'll be like writing first person present and reading first person past, and then accidentally slip into past a bunch of times, and then it'll be like pages and pages and pages where I'm like, oh crap, I need to go back and fix all that. Yeah, so monotonous and terrible.
Also, if anyone was curious, tomorrow is the 20th birthday of Harry Potter.
Excellent.
There we go. Happy birthday, Harry.
June 26th, 1997 was when it came out.
Wow. That makes me feel old. Wow.
Good times. Except for I don't think I actually picked it up till, what, like 90?
Yeah, same. I was not allowed because it was...
It didn't even come out in the U.S. until 98.
Oh. I wasn't allowed for ages.
And I definitely didn't have it before then.
Yeah.
Really?
I know. I read them like right after the 4th book came out, so I think it was like 2000 or something.
I know I read them before the 4th one came out because I went to a midnight party for the 4th one, and I remember going to get the 3rd one.
Yeah.
And it was right when it came out or a little after.
Yeah. I was looking it up recently, and the 3rd one was the first one that was like released in the US and the UK at the same time. So like cool. they released the first book a year later, and then they released the second book a year after the UK. And so the second book came out in America, like I think it was like a couple months or something, or like a month before Prisoner of Azkaban came out.
Wow. I wonder if that affected sales, like, because people could go out and get the next book right away, you know?
Yeah, I did. I remember I read the second one, and it was like, oh, look, the 3rd one's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That makes me wonder if that...
See, I read them, and it was like all the way to the 4th one, and I was like, awesome! And then I had to wait 3 years for the 5th one. Because I read it like right after the 4th one came out.
I was lucky because, yeah, I didn't start until like I think the 6th one was the one that I attended like the release party for, because I started on the 5th one because, like I said, I wasn't allowed because Harry Potter was like evil and sinful. And then I snuck the first one into the house. And at some point my parents read the first one and were like, oh, this is actually not of the devil. We like this series.
My mom read it to see if it would be okay, and like she got super into it. Like she was like halfway through it, and she was like, "Yeah, you can read this, but you have to wait until I'm done."
Yeah, they were like that afterwards. It was so frustrating. I'm like, see, if you had just let me read it, you guys, we would have been a whole family of fans all along. But they believed those chain emails that were like, J.K. Rowling practices witchcraft. Yes.
Yeah, my mom didn't have anything in particular against Harry Potter. I just wasn't supposed to read or watch anything that had witches in it. So.
Except for Lord of the Rings. Was
I
that?
don't know. I didn't watch Lord of the Rings until like way later.
Oh,
so.
okay.
Because
I was
a year later.
Because I had this giant fight with my dad because I was allowed reading Lord of the Rings, but I wasn't allowed reading Harry Potter. Because I was like, "What? Gandalf is a wizard, and he had nothing."
The only thing with magic I really remember, other than like Disney movies, the only thing was like a witch that I remember reading was Chronicles of Narnia, and the witch is evil. So that's what my mom thought that was okay.
So then it's clearly an allegory as well. Like that's as Christian as it comes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, my mom didn't even like Aladdin because like that's what our house is like. We were allowed to watch.
I didn't even see Wizard of Oz until high school. So.
Yep. Good times.
We got an interesting question from Lala, I'm guessing, or it could be IA. It's either a lowercase L or an uppercase I. Any advice for new readers?
Read a lot.
Find the things that you like and don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't like those things. Just find what you like and stick with it and read a lot of them.
That's really good advice, especially like don't let anyone shame you or tell you that certain books are garbage or that you shouldn't be reading this or that, because that's BS.
But I would also say, like,
really hate that.
Especially if you want to be a writer, like, do branch out some and read other things, because you can learn things from other genres.
Just once you're like into reading.
Read widely,
Yeah, definitely read widely, but it's okay to be like, this is my thing that I love, and it's what I'm going to mostly read.
She says she meant writers. He or she. I'm like, well, that makes more sense.
Great advice.
But read widely still applies. Okay.
Yes, still. Read within and out of your genre. Still good advice.
Actually, all the advice still applies.
Yeah.
Still don't let anyone judge your reading material. Read widely, read out of your genre. Yes, exactly.
If you search YouTube, like tips for new writers, YA WordNerds, we did a whole Sunday special chat on it.
I'm pretty sure Megan and I, at the very least, have both done videos about that. So, probably starting out.
Plus, like all of our Monday videos ever.
We talk a lot about writing.
We do.
Read a lot and write a lot. Those are the most important things.
Don't worry about emulating your favorite writers. If someone tells you, you're ripping off so-and-so, it doesn't matter. That's how you learn to write.
Yeah.
You're inevitably going to sound like 6 different writers over the course of the time you're learning to write. That's just how you develop your voice. Oh, and don't knock yourself out trying to develop your voice either, because that is something that just eventually will come.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it. Writing is awesome. We believe in you.
Yep.
Let me check. Let's set our next sprint for the 20. I'm going to check for more questions. Lots of people sharing their experiences reading Harry Potter. It's giving me all the warm, fuzzy feelings. We have a question from Shanice asking, what's the difference between literary fiction and genre fiction?
So literary fiction is like the kind of stuff you would read in like your English class. So it's usually something contemporary, and like, it's hard to explain, but it's the stuff that will like have like bigger words in it, and usually like have some sort of like more obvious themes sometimes than genre fiction will, where it's like about like accepting death or things like that.
Yeah, lots of symbolism.
So definitely think like kind of like of classics. I'm trying to think of like more modern genre or literary fiction.
Water
like
for Elephants.
Yeah. Night
What else
Circus is
is
kind
there?
of literary fiction. I would
Walking
try
the Night Circus is I liked a lot because it's walking the line between genre fiction and literary fiction.
Yeah, where like genre fiction is going to be the sort of thing that like you could like categorize into something like sci-fi, fantasy, romance, mystery, like those sorts of things that are less.
It has an easy to define genre.
Literary fiction is very focused on like sounding beautiful and evoking like these deep feelings in the reader and being very symbolic and like it's like a life-changing read and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't mean to be like scoffing at it or anything. Like I've read a lot of literary fiction when I worked at chapters, but like, yeah, it's very much like book club stuff as well. I'm trying to think of like Water for Elephants is the only thing coming to mind right now. The 4 people, was it 5 people you meet in heaven?
The Age of Miracles.
What else?
The Age of Miracles is a big
Age of Miracles. One. Yeah. A lot of the really mainstream, like big ones that you see the writers getting interviewed and getting awards and like, yeah. So.
All right. We are 1 minute over. It's starting to storm like crazy, so I'm ready to write
it's
some
raining here.
dark things. Your prompt is it's storming.
Hey,
I'm very prepared. We're going to check back in at the 41 so we get our full 20 minutes in. This is going to be our last sprint. Sorry, we can't stay into a bunch today. But we love you anyway, so let's write all the words.
All the words.
Time.
Sweet.
It is raining so loudly here.
I wonder if it dampens the heat a bit.
I hope so. If it rains long enough, it will.
No rain here. That's unusual,
It's been
actually.
raining here a lot.
Usually just rains here and nothing else.
How'd you guys do?
Good.
Pretty good. I don't even bother to count my words for this revision. It's just if I get any words at all, I'm happy with myself. Yes, 5 words.
Yeah, I revised 1 chapter, which is a good amount for revisions.
Mm-hmm. I'm writing like a new scene within my story, and it's so weird and complicated because it's not like with a draft where you just like can kind of blurt out whatever's in your head. You're like, oh no, it has to match up with the last and what comes afterwards. And like I know what's coming in the end, so it has to match with that, and I have to fill in the plot holes I'm creating. And
Oh, that's the worst.
I like fixed one yesterday and was like, yes, I fixed a plot hole. And then I was like, wait, I've destroyed like 5 other things and need to now fix those things. Crap.
That was one of the comments Kyra put in our book. She was like, this wasn't one of the things that we needed to revise, but I fixed this one thing, and now here we are with this plot hole.
You're like, now this other thing does not make sense, and it's a giant plot point, so awesome.
Every time.
Yep. Like create, like all the little revisions create like ripples through your whole story where you're like, okay, now I need to go all through and fix this. Revisions.
I always want to procrastinate them because it's like, that's going to be a lot of work.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so bad.
Like,
I
hate myself more.
Yeah.
Procrastinating.
Like this morning, I was like, actually at like a write-in, so I'm like, I have no excuse. And still, I was like, but Twitter is over here.
It exists.
Yeah, it's a form of writing, right? Like,
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Like having a journal, you're getting some words.
Right. Oh dear. Procrastination. Procrastination is so much easier when I just really, really don't want to do it. While I'm drafting, I guess that's the basics of procrastination. Well, even sometimes when I'm drafting and it's like fairly easy, I'll be like, let's just check Twitter. And I'm not like purposely putting it off, but like for this, yeah, I'm like, well, just put it off to tomorrow. But I can't do that repeatedly because I actually have a deadline of October. And I need to get it into the publisher before October because they could say, no, thank you, I don't want this. And then I have to start over with something new. So
still by October?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I would be okay. Most publishers would be like, well, here's your synopsis and outline of your story, and we like this, and you can start on it. I don't think it needs to be like a whole new manuscript. This one just happens to be completed, so I can send that one. I think with your second novel, you have a little more wiggle room. It can be like, I'm proposing this, and I will write it by such and such date, and then they just accept that. So I think, like, this is what I'm hearing from other writers. I hope they're not like, no, go write a whole nother 70,000 word novel and have it back to us in a month. No.
Like, no.
I'm
sorry, I can't do that.
We had Shanice shared their word count. They got 734. Way to go.
Nice.
Feel free to share yours in your word count or what you got done in the discussion section as well. Shanice also said, I started revising one of my drafts and I have like 6 chapters I have to write because I underwrote it. I feel you so hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Done that before.
It's like, oh wow, look, I wrote 1 chapter and I need it to be 6.
I did that with my whole book the Murder Wizards one, and it was like, oh, this is 50,000 words long, and it's gotta be more like 80,000. So,
I'll like when I'm writing a scene or a chapter, I'm like, oh, this needs to like hurry up and it needs to like finish, and then I go back and reread like a first draft, and I'm like, why are all of these scenes so short? Everything happens too quickly. So I feel like it's taking forever when I'm writing it.
Everything happens too quickly, and it's all like in a white room with no setting.
Also, it's like, what are these characters' personalities again?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
See, mine it's like they're in a beige room, like one thing is described, but there's no dialogue. Like no one is talking to anyone.
A beige room. I love it. Everyone knows there's a couch in the middle of the room, and that's it. That's the only detail you need to know.
My characters will talk plenty, but there's not enough description of what's around them or what's happening or anything, because I'm like, can't break up the dialogue. And I'm like, oh, I should have broken up the dialogue.
Yeah. That's pretty, well, with my last one, I literally just, like, if I read it right now, it'd just be like, action, 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 action. Like, where are these characters, like, developing? Like, what's the emotional journey? And then suddenly she's, like, kick-ass fighter at the end. I'm like, where was any of her training? Like, none of that happened. She's magically a fighter now. Woo! Okay.
I have that on, like, the scene level, too, where it's like, I want my character's anger to be building up so much so that she starts destroying things with an axe. And like in my head, it's this really cool, like, oh, this thing sets her off, and then this thing sets her off, and then this thing. But in reality, it's like she's in a beige room with a dude, and then suddenly she starts destroying it for no reason.
So she just looks insane. You're like,
yeah.
Cool, that's not what I was going
why
for.
Why did she get so angry?
I've done that before where I'm like reading back and I'm like, why did I make my character react this way? Like, this is not logical at all. It's like, would you like a cheeseburger? Oh, I want to kill you. And you're like, what was I thinking? Natural reactions. Who needs them?
Yeah. As a vegetarian, I react that way.
As a vegetarian, I react with immediate violence if anyone offers me a hamburger. I'll kill you.
This is for the cow.
Oh dear. Well, some vegans, man. Okay. I will not start. I live in Vancouver. They'll come for me. They'll show up at my door. What happened to Erin? The vegans got her. Sorry. If you're vegan and listening, sorry. I don't hate you.
Oh.
Disclaimer.
If I missed your question in the discussion section, please ask it soon, because we're going to be going off air soon, because A, I'm at my family's house. B, it's storming and my power might go out.
And I'm melting into a human puddle.
Over now.
This is me melting.
That could be a really interesting live chat.
Me melting and your power going up. Yes, as I'm getting closer and closer to the ground. I'm melting. Oh, we were discussing before the live chat that I am a Canadian wimp and can't handle any kind of heat. And they were telling me to shut up because you guys have it so much worse. My body's not okay with this. It's used to like very cold things.
Yeah, I got into my car today and it said it was like 101 degrees.
No.
I know we were like parked outside my boss's house all day from like 9 to like 5. And so we like went to get in the car and we were like, we're going to start this up and let the AC run for a little while before we actually get in it.
Good idea.
Real bad.
Well, it's funny because like I used to live in Grand Prairie, and like we all had these like electronic car starters where you could start your car like 20 minutes before you went outside because it was like defrost. So it's funny that you guys have to do the opposite, like turn on your air conditioning ahead of time so you don't die getting into your horrible hot cars.
All right, I'm still not seeing any questions, so I guess we will wrap it up. Next week we will probably do our makeup of the Reader Book Club pick, but we will keep you posted on that. if anything changes. I'm sure we will also have lots of videos in the near future about Camp NaNoWriMo, which is coming up, and we are very, very excited for it. Any final thoughts from you guys?
Nope. Megan, Emma's just yawning.
I'm tired.
Emma's over there like, when are we stopping this? All right.
I wrote like 400 words. What else do you want from me tonight?
Also, it's too hot to form coherent sentences today, so yeah.
All right. Well, be sure to like and subscribe so that you see all our videos, because we have videos every day of the week, and we would love for you to see them. Self-plugging. And yeah, so we'll have another video up tomorrow, probably.
Hopefully.
Every day of the week, live chat 1 week from today. And we will see you then. Bye.
Bye.